All right, a test ride I've been very excited for since we started doing these things. Tuono V4 1100 factory. This is a very special bike. Right now we have it in sport mode. We're gonna leave it there for now. Oh yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is a bike that has a lot of racing prowess and history involved in it. If you know, you know. Let's see. Yeah, I'm cool. Traction control on. Man, I got absolutely flamed in one of these comments last time. You guys talking about my boots, man. I got some new boots. I was just waiting on them, breaking them in. So this bike is very, very fast. When I say that this thing has racing heritage, a lot of people don't know that the Tuono V4 factory will pretty much hold the world record for Pikes Peak for the rest of history in its rate class. And the reason why that is give you some background. The Ducati Pikes Peak Multistrada is named that because Carlin Dunn took it out one time and won the class for it and set a record. Now a privateer from Aprilia eventually, or a privateer went ahead and got a factory support and went out and took out a Tuono V4 very close to factory condition and ended up being the world record. So of course Ducati didn't take that lightly. Eventually V4S went back out with Carlin Dunn, and may he rest in peace, he did pass away. So the race class, to my knowledge at least, has been shut down. So this bike, if what I'm saying is correct, will hold the record for the rest of time. And it makes sense. It's a very, very torquey bike. It has a lot of torque, a lot of power too. Overall, I'll hold my reservations on the power and torque till I get on the highway, but so far this bike sounds amazing. It's not bad on the comfort. I will say, if you're looking for some really long range, or you know, if you're slightly older, this bike may get a little heavy on the wrists. It actually feels closer to my Gixxer 750 than I initially thought it would. So maybe a really less aggressive sport bike, this bike might feel slightly like that. Which, keep in mind, it is the factory, so this is the more aggressive of the two models. So that all makes sense. Now, something I absolutely pride Aprilia with is their tank shape. It makes you feel so locked in, makes you feel like you're part of the bike. I definitely compare it a lot to the Triumph Daytona, and the way where there's just somewhere for your knees to go right into. And if you're really big on lower body position, which you should be, to create a good upper body position, you need to have a good lower body position and foundation. And I definitely get the foundation on this bike. Man, so this thing is absolutely rowdy on the highway. Obviously, pretty much anywhere in the power band, it's got power to give you. Has an up and down quick shifter. Just nothing but raw power, man. Oh, it happens so fast too. You downshift, you get on the throttle, and you're in front of whoever the heck you thought you wanted to pass. It's as close to instant as it freaking gets, man. It sounds amazing while you're doing it. You look even better. Oh, yes. So it's incredibly quick. Both in the middle and high RPMs. This bike has something to give you, man. It is so serious. The brakes are awesome. Of course, suspension by ONYX is top tier. And that's the best part of a V4. I was just at like 2,000 RPM. Way wrong gear for that. If I was on my bike, I would have downshifted and probably been a lot better off. But the bike just did not care. I was in a gear, and that gear had torque, because this is a V4. It's almost like you get the torque from the V configuration and the top end from a 4-cylinder, which just gives you this ungodly level of consistency across the power band. Which just makes merging on the highway absolutely brutal. And the sound that comes from these bikes is just absolutely unmatched. In my opinion, there's really only one bike, sort of two, that compete with this bike. And that's the V4 Streetfighter and S1000R, I'll give it that one too, and the MT10. Now, the reason why the S1000, I think, loses to this bike is not for performance, but for sound. I would take MT10 over S1000R just for sound, I'm just saying. So, when it comes to checking all the boxes, sound, torque, power, comfort, and looks, this is where the Tuono, I think, really wins it, is because of the looks. This bike has a sport bike fairing, but cut short. So I'm getting some wind protection. Don't get me wrong, I'm not tucking behind a fairing or anything crazy. And the absolute best part of this bike, easy into the corner, amazing tires, nice and sticky. I mean, I would feel so comfortable being all the way to the point of damn near dragging knee on this bike. Yeah, the Öhlins just responds right out of the corner, ton of torque. So I am a loss of words for this bike. Just instant torque coming out of the corner. Everything you need all at once. Good suspension, good brakes. I think this is probably one of the very few 10 out of 10 test rides I'm gonna have to put out there, because this bike was incredible. It's light, it's maneuverable. I can't think of a single weakness behind this bike. I imagine down the line heat may become a thing, as the top bank is right here. That only makes sense. Honestly, I'll take some heat for the amount of bike that you're getting right now. I would take some heat. You're getting a very, very exotic bike now at a steep discount, because we've been holding on to this thing way too long. It's time for this thing to go somewhere proper. So final impressions on this Tuono V4 factory is this thing is absolute perfection. Absolute perfection. I cannot imagine wanting anything more in a motorcycle. As a sport biker myself, maybe something more comfortable, this is my top pick after riding it. Thank you so much for joining it. Give us a call. I would love to talk about this thing some more.